Greetings. In the name of Gaius Julius Caesar, former proconsul of Gaul, and first spear Centurion Gaius Crastinus, do you have it? Do you have what it takes to be a member of the greatest fighting force ever to march for the Eagles of Rome? Before you answer that question, consider this. What do Achilles and Hector of the Trojan War, Leonidas, the Lion King of Sparta, and Alexander the Great all have in common? They all would have had to have trained hard to be worthy of joining the general's beloved 10th Legion. Since we've been bringing peace to the barbarians in Gaul, north of Italy, we've proven ourselves to be the greatest fighting force the world has ever known. I'm only going to say this once. Some of you already know, and you know. Those of you who don't, you don't. The Senate has declared war on Caesar and his legions. I find that amusing, since the first thing they did after declaring war was to tuck tail and run to Greece under the command of their general Gnaeus Pompeius. I refuse to use the cognomen that man is so fond of. He likes to call himself Magnus, as if he were another Alexander the Great. But I ask you, would Alexander tuck tail and run from the enemy? I don't think so. But make no mistake, I never underestimate an enemy, especially one who has Titus Labienus leading his troops. During our time in Gaul, Labienus was the legatus, the commander of our 10th Legion. He was Caesar's right-hand man. I fought proudly at his side. He was a fierce warrior. He was loyal to his general and more than capable of winning. Just to give you a quick example, several years ago we were fighting the Belgae in the north. My unit, the 10th Legion, was stationed with the 9th over on the left wing. Labienus gave the command. We hurled our spears, broke the enemy apart, drew our swords, and slaughtered a large number of them down by the river's edge. Then Labienus gave the command to pursue the stragglers up the hill on the far side. And it was a good thing he did, because when we got to the top of the hill, we could see that the Roman troops over on the right were in trouble. So Labienus gave the order, and we marched at top speed. When they saw the 10th coming, they took heart. Together, we routed the enemy. And just last year, Caesar put Labienus in charge of all of Gaul on the nearer side of the Alps. Now, there's those who think that Caesar did it to help Labienus' chances of getting elected consul, which is why a lot of people feel betrayed that he's now gone over to the side of Pompeius. And I'm one of them. Now, there are those who say that it's because Labienus and Pompeius are from the same region in Italy, down around Picenum. Others because Labienus is more loyal to Rome than he is to Caesar. Ultimately, I don't know and I don't care. I'm loyal to my general, and that's where you come in. Now, there's many reasons why you would want to join an elite fighting force like the 10th. First of all, there's the pay. You get paid 75 denarii every 4 months. Try making that as a farmer. You have to depend on the gods to make your crops grow, and if they don't, what are you going to do? In the legions, you can make a good wage. After 16 years, you can be discharged, enjoy the spoils of war, maybe the gratitude of your general. He may even give you a little plot of land on which to start a farm. But as the beneficiarius of your general's generosity, you must always be ready to come when he calls. Just last year, Caesar appointed me as primus pilus, first-ranked centurion of the 10th. I was discharged shortly after that, gone back to my family's farm in Mantua, northern Italy, started to settle back down into farming life. When I got the word from Caesar to muster up the 10th again in the war against Pompey and to recruit more soldiers. And that's why I'm here with you today. Now, in addition to the pay, you'll find the best medical care in the world right here in the Roman army. We have the best doctors in the Roman legions, not like the quacks you have out here in the provinces. In a proper Roman camp, we've got bathhouses, drains, latrines to keep you clean, and we'll make sure you've got enough food for 2 square meals a day. That's true, we deduct the cost of the food from your pay, but we make sure you've got enough to keep you in top fighting form. We give you grain to make bread, fruit, vegetables. And don't let anybody tell you we don't eat meat in the legions. Of course we eat meat. We hunt, we fish, we eat pork. What do you think happens to the cattle after we slaughter them for their leather? We eat beef, of course. Now, if you're used to a finer vintage Wienum at some Roman dinner party, maybe a nice Caecubon or Falernian, you might be a bit disappointed. We drink a little bit sterner drink in the legions. It's a bitter wine drink called a catum. I guess what I'm trying to say is this. If you want to live a long life, join the legions. That may sound strange to you. Don't people die in the legions? Well, of course they do. But not as many as die on the other side of the field of battle, I can guarantee you that. We train you how to fight. But even more importantly, we train you how to stay alive. Take me, for example. I was born 7 days before the Ides of November in the consulship of Marius and Papirius. I served many a campaign with the Eagles. And I've got some scars, but I'm not dead yet. Neither Caesar himself nor I give a quarter denarius if you're out for some kind of individual glory, trying to be a hero. You fight the way we train you to fight. Romans come home alive. You let Caesar worry about the glory. As far as that goes, Caesar's a generous man. Sometimes he likes to give what he calls a hosta pura. It's a miniature spear. Gives that out as a prize for valor. Or sometimes he'll take these armillae, these golden armbands, or a turquoise, one of these twisted metal necklaces that the barbarians like to wear. He'll take these things off the bodies of dead barbarians who don't need them anymore, and he'll pass them out as prizes to the men. Of course, the most coveted among the dona militaria are the coronae, the crowns. Now, you might get one of those for being the first man over the wall of a city, helping relieve a besieged garrison. But the rarest of all is the corona civica, the civic crown. You get that for directly saving the life of a Roman citizen in battle. So let's say you do have it in your head to fight with the Eagles. Well, your first step is to have a physical examination. If you're too tall, you'll stand out, you'll get killed in your first campaign. If you're too short, can't hold your shield at the right height to protect the man next to you. Caesar is looking for young men about 5'7" to 6 feet tall. Sorry, ladies, Caesar doesn't have any Amazons fighting in his army. But if any of you have brothers, you might want to listen to this. Share it with them. They may want to join the 10th Legion. Now, Caesar prefers you boys from the country. You rural lads, you know how to be tough already, although we'll make you tougher. Some of you city boys have got to learn how to get your hands dirty first. But no matter where you're from, we can take you, train you into a true son of Mars. Now, if you don't pass the physical examination, there's still plenty of things that you can do. I've already mentioned doctors. We need blacksmiths, carpenters, leather workers, tradesmen of all kind. You can have a good life as a citizen following the legions around. Well, let's say that you do pass your physical examination. Your next step is to take your sacramentum, your oath of loyalty, to your general. That's true, we fight for Rome. But your pietas, your loyalty, is to your general, something that Titus Labienus seems to have forgotten. It's that sort of loyalty and fierce discipline and training that are allowing us to conquer the known world. How else do you think we could go up against Gauls, who are often more numerous than we are, Germans who are bigger, Africans who are more cunning? We train you how to run, jump, swim, all while wearing your full armor. You'll learn to use your scutum, your pilum, and your gladius. And you'll learn a trade. It's Roman soldiers that are building siege engines, ships, roads, bridges. And when you get back to camp, you will have a particular task to perform, and you will do it to perfection, or you will feel a stick like this across your back. I know. You've been looking at this armor. You want to see it in action. Maybe you even want to try some of it on. Well, before you can do that, you must understand something about the authority structure in the Roman army. At the top, as I've said, is the dux, the general. In the case of our army, that is Gaius Julius Caesar. If he even suspects your father of being a spy, your only response is to ask leave to go send that traitor to the underworld. Beneath him is the legatus, or the commander of each legion. There are multiple legions that make up the entire army. And as I've indicated, until recently, the legatus of the 10th was Titus Labienus. It's now Caesar's good friend, Marcus Antonius. Each legion is made up of 10 cohorts of anywhere from 360 to about 480 men each. Each cohort is made up of 6 centuries of about 60 to 80 men each. And you and 7 other men will form a contubernium. And the 8 of you will share a tent and various responsibilities around camp. Now you report directly to somebody like me, your centurion. It's a centurion's job to make sure that the commands are followed to the letter. Commands that he has heard directly from the legatus, which the legatus has heard directly from the dukes. And the way we make sure that happens is with this, the wittis. Each centurion carries this twisted vine staff. It's not only a badge of honor for us, but it's an invaluable tool in close infantry training. When you feel a staff like this crack across your shoulders, you'll know pain. If this has been soaked in salt water and breaks the skin across your back, you'll know the kind of suffering that makes you ready to be a soldier in the 10th Legion. Now, if that sounds harsh to you, it is nothing compared with what your fellow soldiers could do to you if, for example, you fell asleep on guard duty. By Roman law, they're allowed to club you to death. It's only fair. You put their lives in danger. And should your cowardice ever infect the entire legion, Caesar is authorized to execute every 10th man. Now, are you still ready to hear about the weapons that are conquering the known world? I can't hear you. Are you ready to hear about the weapons conquering the known world? Yes. I should think so. We'll start with the extremes, our head and our feet. On your head, you wear the gallia, your helmet. You'll notice some features about it. First of all, you notice this broad, extended neck guard. Most of the enemies we fight tend to use their swords in a slashing motion. That broad neck guard protects your neck, keeps you from getting decapitated. You'll also notice that the brow is reinforced with an extra ridge in the front. So if any barbaric sword comes slashing down, this will protect your skull. Now, a key feature of the Roman helmet are these cheek flaps that come down to protect the face. But you'll notice that my ears are left open. This is crucial for the way Romans fight. Some of the Greek soldiers will wear helmets that are completely metal, completely encase the head in bronze. That wouldn't work for Romans, given our strategy. We fight in an arrangement called the triplex achies, or the triple battle line. It's a flexible arrangement of men on the field that can change as needed. If the commander needs to move some troops from one place to another, all he has to do is give the order. We can hear, and we can move. The way this works is with the bravest man in each legion, the Aquila Fair. The Aquila Fair is the eagle bearer. One man, each legion. Carries a staff with a golden eagle perched on top. When a commander wants to move troops, he simply has to get word to the Aquila Fair. And when the Aquila Fair moves, the entire legion moves with him. And the bravest man I've ever known is the Aquila Fair of my legion, Gaius Volocatius Tullus. A few years ago, Caesar got it in his head to invade the island north of Gallia called Britannia. We sailed across. We couldn't land on the shore. The water was too shallow for the big warships that we sailed in, so we had to dock quite a ways out from shore, and the water was too deep for the men to jump off and disembark into. Besides that, there were all these insane barbarians screaming and yelling on the beach, and nobody wanted to leave the ships. The Aquila Fair of the 10th, Tullus. He held that eagle aloft. I'll never forget these words as long as I live. He said, "Jump down, men, unless you want to surrender this eagle to the enemy. At least I'll know I've done my duty for my general in the Republic." And with that, he jumped out of the ship, waist deep in water, and started to wade ashore. Well, the 10th wasn't about to surrender their eagle to a bunch of barbarians. And so we disembarked. And when the others saw the 10th leading the way, they disembarked. Just shows you what one dedicated Roman can do. Now, back in the time of my grandfather, you brought whatever kind of weaponry or armor you had. Nothing was unified. But it was Caesar's uncle Marius who reformed the army. Made sure that everybody got the same kind of weaponry and armor. You'll get a helmet like this, assuming you pass your physical. Again, it's got that extended neck guard. It's got the reinforced brow guard, the cheek flaps, and a lining to protect your skull. This is what you'll receive. What you'll notice, of course, is that mine looks a little different. We've been employing some Gallic blacksmiths, and they made some nice decorative changes. I think my helmet looks quite nice, don't you? Yes, I thought so. You'll also notice that mine has a crista, or a crest, going from side to side. That's how you will be able to see me and identify me on the field of battle. If you can't see me, you're out of formation, and you're putting lives in danger. And you will have an appointment with the witness when we get back to camp. On your feet, you wear your colleagues. These are hobnailed sandals that allow us to march over any kind of terrain. One of the hallmarks of the Roman army is speed. We can march up to 20 miles a day, although Caesar has been known to march his men faster, up to 24 miles in a day. As a matter of fact, that's how we got our first victory about 10 years ago when we first invaded Gaul. There's this tribe called the Helvetii. They wanted to pass through Roman-held territory. Caesar, of course, told them no. And they thought they'd try it anyhow. Well, Caesar ordered the legions to march at top speed. We got there before they'd finished crossing the Arar River, and we slaughtered a full quarter of them. An interesting thing about that battle, that was the same tribe that had killed Caesar's father-in-law's grandfather and had humiliated his army. The same tribe had battled the Romans some years before and unfortunately had defeated them, and as a way to humiliate the Romans, they put a couple of spears in the ground, tied another spear across the top, and made the whole army bow their heads and walk underneath in submission. You notice I said this happened under the command of Caesar's father-in-law's grandfather. And that just shows you that Romans never forget, and we always get revenge. Now, protecting the main part of your body is your lorica hamata. This chain link armor is effective protection, but it also gives you plenty of range of motion. I said before that most of the people we fight, these barbarians, they tend to slash with their swords. A slashing sword is not going to get through armor like this, if they even manage to get a blade on you at all. Because if you fought the way we've taught you to fight, they should never get that close, because you know how to use your scutum. Scutum is your shield. What you'll notice is that the scutum is a full body shield. It protects you from chin to shin. It's made of a wooden frame, stretched dried leather over the top. Nothing's getting through that. It's reinforced by bronze edges, and it has this big boss, what we call an umbo, made of bronze right in the middle. If an arrow strikes that or a spear, it merely ricochets off. Now, you can also use this in an offensive way. In the press of battle, you slam that umbo into another man's stomach and it'll knock out his air. You slam the scutum down on his feet and it'll shatter his foot bones. And while he's doubled over in pain, you ram it up under his chin. You can take a man's life with your scutum alone. Now, another function of the scutum is again defensive. I've emphasized the need to fight in order and in formation. When you're standing in formation, your shield covers half of your body and half of the man next to you. This is why you never, ever break ranks. Now, I've got to tell you a story. He wouldn't appreciate my telling it, but I don't care. I've got a couple of friends over in the 13th Legion, Titus Pullo and Lucius Varenus. Now, both of these guys were trying to get the same promotion that I got in the 10th, the promotion to Primus Pilus, first rank Centurion. And these two were always trying to outdo one another, trying to show who was more of a man. Well, Pullo kind of forgot that he was a centurion, I guess. They were fighting the Nervii, and Pullo, a centurion, trying to be promoted to first rank, a man who should have known better, breaks ranks. Trying to show off for his legatus, trying to prove that he's more of a man than Lucius Varenus. Well, he suddenly finds himself surrounded by the enemy. One of the enemy javelins pins his sword belt behind him. He can't even grab his sword, and suddenly he's about to die. Turns out it was his rival, Varanus, who came to his aid and rescued him. Now, it certainly was an act of valor on the part of Varanus, but I want you to see it as an example of what not to do. Now, you've noticed that everything I've talked about so far has been defensive armor. I don't care who you are. I don't care how brave you think you are. When you're in the midst of battle and men are screaming, puking, bleeding, and dying all around you, the natural response is to retreat. We focus on you coming home alive. And don't think that just because I'm in the front leading you, that you will hang back or pull away, because I have a second in command called an optio, and he stands at the back of the unit, pushing you forward. Of course, coming home alive is important, but we do have to take a few lives along the way to do it. And the first weapon you'll learn to use is your pilum. Pilum Romanum, the Roman long spear. You notice it has a point on both ends. The long point at the top. It's long and thin, and it's made to bend, so that if it gets stuck in a barbarian shield or gets stuck in, well, a barbarian, someone can't pull it back out and throw it back against us, because this long, thin iron shaft will bend. The reason it's got a point on the other end is because it allows you to have some balance as you're standing and waiting. Much of your time in the army is spent standing and waiting and waiting and waiting. You will not discharge your pilum until you've heard the command to do so. But when you hear pila parate, you'll know to get the pilum in proper position. You'll take 3 steps forward, unus, duo, tres, and then you will hold again, and you will wait. You'll wait. You'll wait. And at that point, you'll hear the command, Pila Yakete, and you'll hurl the spear, and the battle proper will be on. At that point, you need no further instruction, because you will know to draw this. Somebody is in trouble. Where is my servant? A servant who has locked my spear into my armor. You can imagine somebody's going to feel a witness when I get back to camp. The Gladius Hispaniensis, the Spanish short sword. I say Spanish because Romans often find designs that we like with some of the barbarians that we conquer, and then we take them and use them and make them our own. The Gladius Hispaniensis, while it can be used to slash, is primarily a stabbing sword. The way it works is this. You cover yourself. You hold the blade parallel to the ground. You stab, you pull back and cover. You stab, you pull back and cover. The reason you hold your blade parallel to the ground is so you can slide it between the ribs of your enemy. Pull it back out cleanly. If it's twisted, you may get hung up in his rib cage as you're trying to extract your weapon. Another enemy could bear down on you and kill you. Stab, cover, stab, and cover. Kill the enemy, win the battle, and come home alive. Now at this point, I need to know whether any of you has what it takes to be a possible member of the 10th Legion. Strong body with a dull mind is as cheap as life itself. Caesar has to know that you have a brain that works. So I need to ask some questions. As I ask questions, depending on your answers, I'm going to invite you here to pick up a piece of weaponry, and then we're going to do some practice drills. Somebody tell me, why does the Roman helmet have open ear areas? Why are the Roman ear areas open on our helmets? Does anybody know? Yes. So you can hear commands. Come on up, son. There's a cloth to protect your head. Put the helmet on. Stand to the side. Somebody else. Somebody else. How can you take a man's life with a Roman shield? How can you kill a man with a shield? If no one knows, then none of you would be fit for the legions. Yes.
You hit them with the metal ball.
You hit them with the metal ball. Very, very good. Gentlemen, you should be ashamed of yourselves. A Puella knew the answer to that. Come on up. You do your family proud. Take this scutum with an overhand grip. Go stand by the young man down here. Somebody else. How does the scutum allow you protection not only for yourself, but for other soldiers as well? Yes. Cover up the other half of them. Good. Another Puella. Maybe Caesar's going to have to rethink his no Amazon policy. Come on up. Well done, Puella. You make your family proud. Take the scutum with an overhand grip. Stand on this end. Somebody tell us, why does the Roman spear have a point on the bottom end? Yes. For balance. Very good. Come on up. You see, this pilum has seen a lot of damage over the years, a lot of campaigns. Take it, stand over here with these others. A lot of spears have short points at the end. Why does the Roman pilum have such a long iron shaft? Yes. So it will bend on contact. Come on up. Take the pilum. Stand with the others. Where, from what country did Romans steal or borrow our design for our swords? Yes, right here. What's that? Spanish. Very good. The Spanish short sword. Very nice. Come on up. Gladius for the Puella. Very nice. I've got one more for this round. Somebody tell me, why do you stab with your blade parallel to the ground? Yes. Won't get stuck in an enemy rib cage. Very, very nice. As this young man is making his way up, something is very, very important to know. When you first join the legions, you will carry your sword on your right. You only carry your sword on the left, as I'm doing, if you are a centurion. If I ever catch you with your sword on your right, well, I think you know by now. You'll have an appointment with the witness. All right, right now we need to get you formed up and into some formation. When I give you the command, Aciem formate, line up shoulder to shoulder, facing these people. Aciem formate. Shoulder to shoulder, facing them. I just said that you always carry your sword on your right. So if you hear the command, ad gladios rotate, it means turn toward your swords, which means turn toward your right. I will give you that command now. Ad gladios rotate. You carry your shield on your left. So if you get the command, ad scuta rotate, you turn to your left. Let's try it now. Ad scuta rotate. Glad to Mars. The Caesar's not here to see this. I didn't give the command twice. I only gave it once, which means you should be facing these people out here. Let's try it again. Ad gladios rotate. I honestly don't know what sort of education you have out here in the provinces that you don't know right from left. Face your friends. You turn toward the swords means you turn toward the right. Let's try it again. Ad gladios rotate. Barely better. We're turning to the shields now. That's to the left. One time. Ad scuta rotate. Again, ad scuta rotate. Should be facing me. Good. Ad gladios rotate. Should be facing your friends. Ad gladios rotate. Ad scuta rotate. Now, we invite you simply to walk around. Walk around. In a moment, I will form you back up again, and you had better be ready. So walk around, mix yourselves up. Go out for an afternoon stroll. Aciem formate. If that had happened in war, you'd be dead. Ad gladios rotate. Ad scuta rotate. Omnes, plaudite omnes, plaudite omnes. Deponete arma, deponete arma. Put down the weapons. Put down the weapons. Now, something interesting. While we've been up in Gallia, we've encountered sedata. Have a seat. While we've been up in Gallia, we've encountered some rather strange people called druids. They basically deal in dark magic. They're the religious leaders, and they've developed an odd substance. It looks like metal, but it isn't. So we've started to make some weapons out of this for practice. That way people don't get hurt while practicing. I'm going to need a couple of people to come up with a gladius and a scutum and to do battle. I will tell you how we do battle and how we practice so that no one gets hurt. We don't have time to have you laid up with the medici or the doctors. So, some questions. Who is the dukes of my army? Who is the dukes? Yes. The general. Come forward. Come forward. Take a scutum with an overhand grip and one of these really strange druid-made swords. We are at war with someone who was once Caesar's friend, but has now gone over to the enemy. What is his name? Yes. Titus Labienus, come forward. Come over here. Pick up the scutum in your left hand with an overhand grip. Here is your strange druidic sword. Now, the way this is going to work in drill is this. If your blade touches the other man on his arm, that arm must go behind his back. At that point, you have only one arm, and you must decide whether to use it with the shield or the sword. If the blade touches a leg, you bring that leg up behind you, and you are now on one leg. If both arms are touched, that is death. If both legs are touched, that is death. And if you're not holding your scutum right, and you get touched in the torso, that is automatic death. I'm not having you wear the Gallia. Do not offer a headshot. When I give you the command of pugnate, you will commence to fight. On my command, pugnate! One of the things you'll notice is the length of that shield offers great protection. Oh! He got a headshot. Winner. This young man is dead. Stay where you are, sir. Deponete arma. Put your weapons down. Stay where you are. All right, this young man is the champion. Sede, you're dead. Sede, you're dead. Somebody tell us, in the Roman army, how much do you get paid and how often? Yes. Every 4 months, come up and take this man's weapons. You've heard you actually drew blood? Sounds like you are fit for the 10th Legion. You're tough. When I give you the command,
He plays drums. This isn't fair.
Pila Parate.
Oh, I got him in the foot.
One foot's gone. One foot's gone. Lift your foot. Whoa, whoa.
Oh, that's definitely a foot.
It's a foot. He's almost down. And desistate, deponete arma, applaudite omnes, deponete arma, et sedata. Have a seat, have a seat. So at this time, I'm assuming that you have some leaders with you, and I'm not sure what time we have. Do I still have some time with you?
It's 9:22.
What hour of the day is that?
Morning.
It is morning. Do I have some more time with you?
Yes.
Then I will open it up to questions from you about the Roman army. Anything you choose to ask, I will do my best to answer. Caesar is looking, as I said, for people with sharp minds, and a sharp mind is a curious mind. If you don't have questions, it means your brain is dull. Yes?
What's all the stuff on the front of these for?
Excellent question. These are phileri. These are additional awards for valor and bravery. I got enough of them that I put them together into a harness that I wear on my chest. Purely decorative. There's some protection function as well, but mainly it is recognition of my valor. Yes?
Is the smaller sword also a spear?
Great question. The smaller one is not a sword at all. It is a pugio. It is a dagger. It's used for everything from cutting pieces of fruit to taking care of somebody who cheats at dice. Yes.
Is that like pictures on the shield symbolizing?
Absolutely. A wonderful question. The picturi, these pictures on the shield. One of the things you'll notice is the long, pointed, straight bar in imitation of the pilum, or the spear. You notice the jagged bar. Looks like lightning. We bring the very lightning of Jupiter when we take to the field. And then the wings, of course, are the wings of the golden eagles. The golden eagles are the best. The golden eagles never fail. The golden eagles are superior to every other group in the world. Wouldn't you agree? Yes. Excellent question. Excellent question. Any others? Yes, sir.
How do you become a Roman centurion?
Become a Roman centurion. The centurion is the highest rank of the enlisted men. So if you get picked, you would then be an enlisted soldier. Your legatus, your centurion, even your dukes, is continually watching your behavior in training, in camp, and of course in battle. And when appropriate, when it seems that you've shown the skills and the discipline, you get promoted, and the highest rank for an enlisted man is centurion. And then within the centurion rank, there is, of course, primus pilus, which is what I am, which is the chief ranking centurion of the 10th Legion. And as this young lady was asking about my pholeri here, clearly, I've earned it. Then if there are no other questions, I will bid you waleta. Those of you who are interested, you need to report to the camp at the edge of your town. There will be other centurions like me, other soldiers, to put you through the physical to see if you're worthy of joining the legions. Waleta.